I'm sure most of you will be hearing stories about the court case and all that. I won't dwell so much on that matter because it's already a court issue. But let me just say this, the genesis of what happened before you can be able to know the truth. In 2023, I indicated interest to run for the governorship of my state. And I wrote to the party officially that I will be absent a few 3 months and asked my deputy to hold brief for me, which is the normal thing. That's why you have the principal officer and the deputy. If you're not there, your deputy comes in. And that was exactly what happened. But not knowing that on the 20th, precisely now, on the October, the former National Working Committee, National Vice Chairman, Southeast, Chief Ali Odefa, went and connived to remove me as National Secretary. And how did he do that? He went and convinced the governor of Enugu that our constitution says that I will resign for me to run. First of all, the constitution is here, and some of you are lawyers. It's very, very clear and explicit that I am not, it's up to me to resign or not. And I didn't resign. So the governor, he went and convinced the governor because he knows that his tenure as the national vice chairman is coming to an end. So he wanted to perpetuate himself in office or return back as national vice chairman. So he now said all this idea to the governor of Enugu State, His Excellency Peter Mba, whom I met and I told him it is wrong. And what did he do? He went and printed the electoral guidelines for primary elections. This is the original. This is the original primary policy guideline of our party. Duly signed, Senator Yacho Ayo and myself. He went and printed this fake one. This is the fake one without any signature. And I want to say this. This has not to do with organization department. It was done deliberately and took this thing to His Excellency and he bought into it without knowing the truth. Based on that, they now came and asked me, I should resign. Resign for what? On the day of my election. So on the 10th of November, to be precise, my election supposed to be on the 11th of November 2023. On the 10th of November, while I was busy preparing for my election, they went and got from the State High Court in Enugu. But prior to that one, maybe the Deputy National Legal Advisor will clarify that. When they had that meeting in Enugu, I was not there. I wasn't even invited for that meeting. It was then on that, based on this wrong and fake document, the judge gave an order that I was supposed to have resigned. And not only did I should resign, he said that someone else had been appointed, one Udo Koye, to become the national secretary of a party. Members of the House of Assembly, House of Reps are here, speakers. You know that I was elected through convention, and it's quite explicit that it's only through convention that I can be removed. Now, having said this, when they went to court and got this judgment, a day before my election, can see the wickedness and put it in all the social medias to discourage people. And he went ahead and told the governor that he's the only governor in the Southeast, that if I become a governor, as a national secretary, and I become a governor, that will be too powerful, that it's good for him to remain the only governor in the Southeast. That is how this came. So when they got that judgment, a day on Friday evening, my election is on Saturday morning. So you can know how discouraging that can be. Everybody was demoralized, even to put in our best. Most of our party faithfuls didn't understand what was going on. Then we appealed that judgment. Because that judgment, INEC was never a party to that judgment. So we appealed the judgment right there in Enugu. So after our elections, I came back. And while that judgment was sitting, I stayed away. I went to the Federal High Court in Abuja and sued the matter, where INEC is also a party. On the 9th of January 2024, Federal High Court, Abuja, gave a judgment, and it was quite explicit that I remain the National Secretary of this party until 9th of December 2025, when my tenure will elapse. So I've been there working. So on the 20th of December, when everybody have gone for Christmas, they still went back to Enugu again through the appeal court. And I want you to understand this. The panel of three justices argued, and there was a dissenting judgment where the judge said that this is not the constitution of the party. And for that reason, he awarded 1 million naira cost against them in my favor. The other two agreed, and that is why they have the judgment. Now, once immediately they did that, and this happened around 2 o'clock on the 20th, when people have gone for Christmas. My lawyer called me that he has been invited to join the court by visual. And they said, that's a judgment. Remember, the next day, 21st, people have gone for Christmas. But luckily, my lawyers went into action and appealed the matter. And then also filed for notice, motion of stay of execution. So what they did, while people were in Christmas enjoying themselves, somebody came to the party office and stayed in front of the place, called press, and snap picture that he's coming to take over as National Secretary. How? I said, okay. Just on the few days, precisely on the 2017th or so, the appeal court, the same appeal court, sat and gave what is called an interim stay of execution. Already, this matter has been appealed at the Supreme Court. Based on that, I still remain the National Secretary of this party. But my worry is that here is a National Working Committee. Why is it that it is only in the Southeast our own people are desirous of removing their own? For what just cause? So what is the reason? Now, because of your personal interest, you now presented somebody else to be the National Secretary by default, so that you can come out back as National Vice Chairman. Because you know that National Vice Chairman of the Southeast is zoned automatically to Enugu State. Ebonyi having done 8 years. This is the genesis of this problem. And then this thing has continued. But if you say you're a national secretary, I'm still here. I'm in my office. I'm working for the party. Exercise patience. 9th of December is by the corner. By the time I finish, if you're capable, come back for convention and let the people vote you in. However, and I have in good authority, that the former National Vice Chairman, Ali Odefa, was removed by Federal High Court in Abakaliki. The document is here, and the legal opinion is by the National Legal Advisor is also here. So as it stands, he was removed, as he was expelled by his ward as a member of the party. As a member of the party, which has not been appealed or vacated, or was there any stay? So the meeting at Enugu, which was presided over by him, is a nullity. It's a nullity. And then, because I didn't want to charge them for contempt, going to that kind of a meeting, I'm bringing somebody at the high table, and I introduce him as National Secretary. Whenever you do the wrong thing, you must always fail. Now, he has been removed by court. He was removed by court as a member of PDP. He was expelled. It's not the Imo State. It's not the Enugu State. It is his own ward. And then he went and took some executives of our party, took them to police, arrested them. The people went to court. Just a few days ago, the court has slammed him 100 million naira damages. 120 million. And said every week he does not pay, 5 million will be added to that amount. Am I the one that did it? Every day. That if he does not pay, every day, every people that can speak. So why I'm saying this is Southeast. Will Southeast be used as a guinea to try most of these things? So why I had to give you the genesis for you to understand, because most of you may not know what is going on. Having said that, and if you remember, as PDP people, when we were campaigning for our party, our candidate in Ebonyi, the same former National Vice Chairman, called them and said they should vote against our candidate in Ebonyi. At the Presidential Campaign Council, I went all the whole 36 states, including FCT, but this former National Vice Chairman, Ali Odefa, never went for PDP campaign for one day. Even during the inauguration of the governor of Enugu, as a former National Vice Chairman, he never attended the inauguration swearing in of the governor. The only governor you said is the only governor in the Southeast. As a former National Vice Chairman, you never attended the inauguration. I and the National Deputy Assistant and Deputy National Treasurer were the only people that attended that swearing in. So what love do you have for your zone? Only selfish interest to perpetuate yourself. Now, you went to court, removed you. You have not appealed the matter. There's no stay. So you have no locus to preside over a meeting of PDP as the National Vice Chairman until you vacate that judgment or have a stay. Because when during my own, they say, oh, he doesn't have a stay. Now I have a stay. Where is your own stay? So he is not a member of our party. And if he come back, he has to go back to the ward and reapply as a party. Don't forget that the former national chairman of this party was expelled from the party through his ward. I mean, Senator Yojo Ayo. and the court went and affirmed it. He is still in appeal. He didn't come back as national chairman until he withdrew his matter that he's not going to appeal again. So his own case is not different. And he should be stopped deceiving the only governor we have in the South East. I take time to explain this to you. The same thing today, I just got a memo now from the National Legal Advisor, who has also sent in our platform about the issue of Anambra Congress. So that issue will also, is a matter to be discussed and be said, but already there's a legal opinion on that, and I don't want to dwell into it. So the matter I have is still in the Supreme Court, and I know by the special grace of God, the truth is open. So as it stands, I'm still, and I remain, the substantive National Secretary of this party. If you are genuine, why are you sending text messages for people not to come for meeting? You should have come and explained to yourself to the people of Southeast. These are leaders from all the whole zones. So I just want to give you this genesis of the issue so that we have abreast with what is going on. Having said that, I'm just the national secretary of this party, and I'm from Southeast. So I'll give opportunity for other staff, especially all the zonal officers of party, the AJ chairman and executives from all the states. They will introduce themselves officially for you to know who and who that is here, that this is the real stakeholders, and this meeting is properly constituted. We have our BOT members, we have our leaders from all the states here. Ebonyi people, State Congress, Ebonyi people, it's not here, chairman or their ESCO, because their ESCO has been nullified by court. So if we admit them in this meeting, that means that this meeting is not properly constituted. I'll be flouting court judgment. And PDP, being a very responsible party and a law-abiding party, we must all obey court judgments. So I want to once again welcome you to National Working Committee, to Wadata House. God bless you and thank you. The meeting is hereby open.
I am Barrister Kechukwu Oswan. By the grace of God, the Deputy National Legal Advisor of our great party. I was 2 times Commissioner in Abia State and a former local government chairman. You're all welcome. Like what the brief remark by our distinguished senator, the National Secretary, I mean, it's sometimes annoying, and one will begin to think, why must Southeast be singled out? Whenever what is happening in Southeast is not something to cheer about. This is a political party, a national party. In fact, one of the greatest parties in Nigeria, the first party. And every time you see our people, I mean, I'm surprised to see the wrangling and then bickering in the Southeast, envy and jealousy because of private and personal interest. And we should not allow it. I've been here in this office. I remember what happened in the case of our former national chairman of our party, Dr. Yochi Ayu, from the North Central. And even the acting national chairman now, currently, Ambassador Damagu, is from the, I think, Northeast. But have you ever seen any Northeastern person, or even the North, coming to challenge him or calling for his exit? Even what we have been doing in the party, they have been amending and working together. This case of our national secretary, I think I was the first person. Let me tell you something. If you go to our law, our democracy thrives by the rule of law. And our party, the political party PDP, must thrive by the rule of law. What is the position of our party in our constitution, which is our ground norm in this exercise? The party constitution provided how a national officer like myself, or the national secretary, a zonal officer, state officer, or local government officer can resign while contesting for an election. If you go to our constitution of our party, he provided he can only resign when he assumes office. The word today is assumption of office. And what happened, like our national secretary narrated, he was given ticket to contest for a governorship. So if our party, in our wisdom, if we wanted him to exit that office, we should have negotiated with him at that beginning, at that ab initio, and asked him, if you give you this national secretary position, you will resign as a, no, if you give you this governorship ticket, you will resign as a national secretary. But he was not there because our constitution provided only when he assumes office. And there's a precedent, I will tell you, the current Taraba State governor was state chairman of PDP in Taraba State. And he was contesting for governorship. It was only when he assumed office as a governor. You cannot hold two positions, and he had to resign. So on the onset, when this case came up, it was a zonal caucus meeting in Southeast. I was there present. Most of us were there, even the zonal officers. And I was in the high table when they brought up this matter and said that our national secretary must resign immediately. If you remember those who were in that meeting, I was the first person that spoke in that meeting. Ali Odefa, our vice chairman then, as he then was, because the court has said he's no longer the vice chairman, he was seated by my side. When the matter was raised, I was the first person that spoke. I said, with due respect, the governor was there with his Excellency Governor Mba. I said, at this matter you're talking about here today, let me tell you what is the position of our constitution. I expressly told them what is the position, that the national secretary cannot resign except he assumes office. And I stated this precedent, which I have narrated to you people. At the end of the day, I was even telling them that there's a process of the court, because then our national secretary filed a matter in Osisoma High Court in Abia State, asking for an injunction. I even told them in that meeting that day, Your Excellency, you were there. I told them that there's a process of the court that have been served our office, my office, the National Legal Advisor's Office, and asking us, trying to restrain the party from taking any decision. I told them in that meeting that why don't we work together as Southeasterners and find out how we move forward. They said no, that they must appoint a new replacement. Even they were there that day, there were delegates from Imo State, led by the former governor of Imo State, His Excellency, Ihedioha. Even the deputy governor was there, all of them were there. And then they rose up, and they said they must find a replacement in that meeting. And I told them, even if you want to replace, peradventure, that the national secretary is not there. That position of national secretary was primarily ab initio zoned to Imo State. It shouldn't go to Enugu, because what was given to Southeasterners was only 4 positions: national secretary, national auditor, deputy national legal advisor, and deputy national treasurer. They went that day and said that they have raised a resolution that they have brought the former youth leader, Udo Okoye, that he is now the national secretary. I want to ask all of us here, we are all stakeholders in this. Let me ask you, if you go to our constitution, the only way you can elect national officers of this our party is through a national convention. It's only through a national convention. That's why the case of our national chairman, when they said they would remove him, the court said no, that you can only remove him through a national convention. Because if you remove him now, that means you are going to still appoint another chairman. And the national convention we're looking up to is by December. That's when the tenure of all these national executive will expire. So, why are we, let me tell you people, the implication of what we are doing in our party, we should be careful. This our national secretary was the one who signed all the whole party congresses that took place in all the states of the federation. Am I wrong? He signed all the whole congresses from state to state. And you want to tell me if you remove him now by fiat, you don't know the consequence and the implication in future. We are going to do election by 2027. And you elect a governor, you elect a president. Somebody will come up and take an injunction and an objection, telling you that what you did was a null and void. So our party should be careful. So why I'm telling you this thing, I want to bring to us what is the position of law. Now, even the case in court, they went and said they brought a national secretary. He has explained it to you. There's somebody you appointed. They came to party secretary and said he will assume office. How can you assume office in a matter that is already pending in court? If a matter is pending in court in our jurisprudence, legal jurisprudence in Nigeria, you cannot do anything. Stop this. And that's why the stay of execution has been applied and it has been approved. Stay where you are. What we call it in law is status quo ante bellum. Wherever you were before this matter commenced, stay there. Don't move about. And that is why our secretary is still in this office. He must stay there until the final court makes pronouncement.
Gentlemen of the press, please listen to the communique based on the resolution of the meeting which we held today. After extraying all the facts, circumstances that led to this meeting, it was resolved, one, that the meeting which was held at Government House Enugu, purporting to be a meeting of the Zonal Executive Committee, was not a meeting of the structure of the People's Democratic Party in the constitution of the party, arising from the following. There was no Zonal Working Committee meeting preceding the Zonal Executive Committee meeting, and accordingly no memorandum was produced in accordance with Article 27(7) of the PDP Constitution. There was no proper summoning of the exec meeting because, as at that time, there was no person lawfully who had the powers to summon such a meeting, on the grounds that Chief Dr. Ali Odefa, who would have purportedly summoned the meeting, was no longer the national vice chairman of the party Southeast, because he had been expelled as a member of PDP following due process founded on a decision of the Federal High Court and the resolution of the relevant organs of the party. As at today, that judgment of the Federal High Court has not been stayed, and in addition, there has not lodged even an appeal against the decision of the relevant party organ that duly expelled him as a member of the party. Therefore, the process of summoning the meeting was non-existent in our constitution, since a non-member of the party could not summon a party meeting. The purported zoning of Southeast offices, which allegedly took place at that meeting, is also not a decision of the party, because the meeting was not a meeting of a structure of the party, and you cannot put something on nothing and expect it to stand. Therefore, the zoning which allegedly took place was completely a nullity. In fact, it didn't happen. Also, the recognition of Honorable Udokoye as the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party at that meeting is hereby condemned, being an exercise that is in breach of the Constitution and an affront to the rule of law, because de facto and de jure, the National Secretary of the People's Democratic Party is His Excellency Senator Sam Anyanwu. The Court of Appeal duly stayed a decision of a court, and that ends it. Yet they gathered and, in an affront to the court, contemptuous of the court proceedings, proceeded to recognize him when the law and constitution says otherwise. In view of the above, the relevant lawful organs of the People's Democratic Party ought to proceed immediately to ensure that the affairs of the Southeast Zone of the PDP is managed in accordance with the relevant sections of the Constitution of the PDP. And upon this pedestal, the appointment of Honorable Chidebere Goodluck as successor to Chief Dr. Ali Odefa is hereby ratified to ensure that the Zonal Working Committee Southeast will fully be constituted to administer the affairs of the PDP Southeast in accordance with the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party. In addition, there was a unanimous passage of a vote of confidence on the National Secretary, His Excellency Senator Sam Anyanwu, for the effective way he's administering the affairs of the party in his position in accordance with the Constitution, and he's determined effort to ensure that Southeast PDP is managed in accordance with the Constitution. Also, based on advice of the National Legal Advisor, that courts in Anambra and Ebonyi State had duly nullified the congresses held in those states. This body accepts those nullifications because there's nothing, and as advised by the National Legal Advisor, accordingly, the relevant organs of the party shall move apace to ensure that proper congresses are held in those states.